My first HO train layout in a long time, Part 22, Deadrail conversion of an Athearn Roundhouse EMD F7A. After giving up on deadrailing a dummy GP18 as a battery car, see YouTube video Part 21 in the description below, a search was on for a HO scale F7A powered unit with a F7B dummy to be used as the battery car. A couple of possibilities were found at Train World. This could have been perfect. It had a hard-to-find dummy F7B unit with it, and I already had an Alco RS3 in this livery. It would require wiring up a NixTrainz decoder buddy and adding a Soundtraxx decoder and speakers. Athearn Roundhouse 3312 HO EMD F7A. Its main pro over the CP rail version was that it noted that it had a provision for 21-pin DCC decoders. That meant that there was no wiring to do except for the speakers, as I planned to use a Soundtraxx Blunami 21-pin decoder. No B unit was provided. 2 YouTube videos were found that showed the DCC installation into an Athearn Roundhouse F7A unit. The links for the 2 videos are noted in the description below. Before purchasing the F7A powered unit from Train World, I had to find an F7B dummy. I found and purchased one on eBay. The F7B dummy was opened and the shell removed. The nubs on the side frames that snapped through the shell were removed using a Dremel tool with a grinding disc. I discovered that a DGZZI 4x AA battery holder was going to work as a battery box. The photo shows the frame with the nubs removed and Katy couplers added. The battery box was glued on top of 2 pieces of foam board and 2 pieces of backing board. Later, 2-sided tape was used as the glue I'd used didn't stick to the plastic battery holder. The battery box was taped on top of the foam board and backing board riser. The riser fits into the depression in the center of the frame. The bottom photo shows the shell placed back onto the frame. A battery car trial run using my Alco RS3. Forward. Reverse. With the F7B battery car tested using the Alco RS3 and working as expected, the Athearn Roundhouse 3312 HO EMD F7A diesel locomotive Santa Fe No. 45L was then ordered from Train World. A Soundtraxx 886603 BLU 21 PNE M8 decoder and 2 Soundtraxx number 810154 mini cube oval speaker baffles were ordered from Yankee Dabbler. After the locomotive arrived, its package was carefully opened and the locomotive removed. The locomotive weighed 431.9 grams, or about 15.2 ounces. For comparison, the original locomotive that I use for Deadrail, a Walthers Trainline GP 15-1, weighed 335.6 grams, or about 11.8 ounces out of the box. The shell and then the weight was removed from the F7A. The red item is a plastic strip cut from an old credit card to assist in the removal of the shell. The oval of track from the Walthers Fast Freight set was set up. The stall current was measured following both procedures demonstrated in the Soundtraxx video. Do you know how to test stall current? A link to that video is provided in the description below, along with a direct link as to why stall current should be measured. The train set transformer was set to about 14 volts, which is a little over the maximum charge voltage of 4 LiFe PO4 14500 AA size batteries in series after being fully charged and allowed to rest for several hours. The locomotive frame was pressed firmly onto the track to stall the motor for an instant. The highest amp draw noted was 93/100 amp at the stall. The measure the resistance while sitting on unpowered track test was completed. 14 volts divided by 15.5 ohms equals 9/10 of an amp. The 21-pin Blunami decoder is rated up to 1 amp, so it should be okay. Katy couplers were added to the front of the powered unit and rear of the dummy. The coupler height was checked. The Soundtraxx 886603 BLU21PNE M8 Blunami Electric EMD diesel decoder replaced the chip on the Athearn board that was used to run the locomotive in DC mode. Two Soundtraxx number 810154 mini-cube oval speaker baffles were installed in series, side by side, using masking tape at the rear of the weight. The pickup wires from the trucks were removed from the Athearn motherboard and trimmed off. The battery connector and wires were connected to the rear truck pickup tabs of the Athearn motherboard. The photo shows the F7 units prepared for their first run on the layout. Once the final battery was inserted and the F7B shell put on, the train was ready to roll. The first run worked well. The Blunami app was configured to my liking. A normal run from Northville to South Haven was completed to note whether there were any problems before doing the prototypical runtime procedure. There was a lot of shunting completed at Middleton and South Haven with a return to Northville. The test run ran well over an hour, and there were no problems with either the locomotive nor the track. Determining the prototypical runtime. 4 14500 AA size 600 mAh life batteries were charged. The timer was set for 29 minutes 30 seconds to allow time to pull the battery at exactly 30 minutes. No shell was placed on the battery card to make access to a battery easier. Determining the prototypical runtime continued. The final battery was inserted and the timer was started at the same time. The train was run from Northville to South Haven, which is approximately 4.5 scale miles. Some switching was done in South Haven. The train returned to Northville, and a bit more switching was completed. The half-hour point was reached. A single battery was pulled at 30 minutes of runtime to shut down the power. The batteries were recharged, and the most milliamp hours returned to a single battery was 72 milliamp hours. The average amp draw for a half hour, 30 minutes, of prototypical runtime based on the 72 milliamp hour return is 72 milliamp hours divided by 0.5 hours equals 144 milliamps or 144 thousandths amp. The possible prototypical runtime might be 480 milliamp hours, 80% of the labeled capacity, 600 milliamp hours, divided by 144 milliamps, average amp draw, equals 3 hours and 20 minutes. HO scale F7 units work just fine for Deadrail, using the F7B dummy as a battery car. Internet photo, my EMD F7A and dummy F7B. A short video demonstrating Blunami with Deadrail. With 5 locos on my Deadrail roster, loco logs were created to keep track of data and notes for each locomotive. Each locomotive document is named for the locomotive, and a 6-digit number represents the date that the data was last updated for that loco. Example, 02-07-26 means February 7th, 2026. A PDF of one of my loco logs was created for this locomotive. It demonstrates the kinds of data and other things that I track. A link to the PDF is found in the description below this video. Resizing the browser window, as shown in the screen capture, makes reading my website much easier. I suggest that my website should be checked at least on a monthly basis to see what I've learned, relearned, and where I'm going next with this project. New information is frequently being added to my website. If you have questions to ask or comments to share, my email address is linked at the top of my webpage. I would love to hear from you.